Hi, I am Bobo. I'm 38 years old and I live alone in Guangzhou. This city is more than 1,000 kilometers away from where I grew up. A lot of people don't get it. Why would a man my age choose not to go back to his hometown and live a life that doesn't meet everyone's expectations? Back where I came from, people think men in their 30s should follow a standard life path. A steady job, a house of your own, a car, a family, kids. If you have all of these, people will say you've made a success of your life. But if you're missing a few of them, you'll inevitably be compared to others. To be honest, judged by those standards, I'm not a success. Some even think I've turned myself into a bad example. But over the years, I've become more and more sure of one thing. I didn't end up living this way by chance. I chose this life for myself. When I first graduated, just like most people, I wanted a stable job, and I did find one eventually. I joined a pretty decent company. The pay was reliable, the benefits were good, and I worked in a nice environment. At first, I thought I was finally on the right track, but a few years later, problems started to show up. Every day was the same old routine. Endless meetings, non-stop messages to reply to, one task after another to finish. My life seemed more and more stable on the surface, but deep down I felt emptier and emptier. I realized I was spending so much time on things I didn't really care about. So I quit that job later on. It wasn't because I had my whole future planned out. I just knew if I stayed any longer, I'd lose myself completely. After I left, my income was no longer fixed. Some months I earned more, some months less, but I got back control of my own time. That feeling was far more precious than I'd imagined. Gradually, I came to understand a stable job isn't for everyone, and a life that truly suits you might not look stable at all. A few years ago, almost all my friends were buying houses. Some took out mortgages just a few years after starting work. Others mapped out their income for decades ahead. They believe this brings them a sense of security. I totally get that. Still, I could never make up my mind to buy a place. To me, buying a house is more than just a big purchase. It's more like a lifelong commitment. You're tied to one city, tied to one way of living, tied to the choices you'll make for many years to come. I'm not against buying a house at all. I'm just not ready to take on those restrictions. That's why I've been renting all these years. I can move anytime I want, start a new life in a new place, change my life direction whenever I feel like it. Of course, this freedom comes with a price. I don't have a strong sense of belonging. I worry about what the future holds. Life is full of uncertainties, but it's a price I'm willing to pay. I've been in relationships before. I've truly fallen for someone. I know what it's like to have someone by your side. Everything feels wonderful at the very beginning. You could talk for hours and hours, plan your future together, and feel the joy of being understood and accepted. But as the relationship grew deeper, I realized I always needed my own personal space. I love peace and quiet. I like to think alone. Sometimes I want to step back and stay away from the busy world. Not everyone can understand this need. Most people think love means spending as much time together as possible, keeping in touch all the time, and blending your lives completely. But too much closeness makes me feel suffocated. It's just that I'm afraid of losing who I am. So I chose to stay single. This doesn't mean I don't believe in love. I just picked a lifestyle that fits me better. People often ask me, don't you feel lonely living all by yourself? The answer is yes, I do. Sometimes I get home and there's no one to talk to. When good or bad things happen, I have to deal with all my feelings on my own. But over time, I've learned that being alone and feeling lonely are two different things. Being alone is just a state of life. Feeling lonely is an emotion. When I'm by myself, I get to do all the things I love. Cook meals, go for walks, read books, watch strangers passing by on the street, write down little moments in life. These simple moments help me know myself better and better. When there's no applause, no judgment, no approval from others, you finally figure out who you truly are. Many people say big cities are cold and indifferent, but for me, it gives me exactly the space I need. No one cares if you're married or not. No one keeps asking how much money you make. No one tells you how you should live your life. There are all kinds of people here. Everyone is living their own life, and I love this kind of freedom. After work, I like to look for small hidden shops around the corners, try new food, observe different people, feel the city change day by day. These ordinary little things bring me real happiness. At last, I want to say I'm already 38. I haven't lived up to the traditional definition of success. I haven't followed the path that everyone expected of me, but I have no regrets, because I know every kind of life has its own trade-offs. Some carry the pressure of a mortgage, some take on the responsibilities of marriage, some face the risks of starting a business. As for me, I take on the risks that come with freedom. There is no absolutely right choice. No single lifestyle works for everyone. I believe more and more firmly in this. The most important thing in life is not to live up to others' standards. It's to live a life you're willing to take responsibility for. So I want to ask you the same question. Is the life you're living right now truly what you want? Or are you just living the way everyone thinks you should?